Ah, shit. Here we go again.
So I just got sent up north. We gonna skip past the bus ride. We gonna skip past the reception. We gonna skip past intake and all that. So I'm going down this corridor, going to my unit, right? And how these units are set up, each unit has a big old like plexiglass that you can see inside these units. So you see guys walking around, you see dudes up on the glass, banging on the glass, talking about, man, bring that motherfucker up in here, and all this crazy stuff or whatever. Now, it's 20 units per hall or whatever. So to the right of me, I see this guy that I recognize, and it was this dude named Jimmy. Now, I knew Jimmy in Flint, Michigan, and Jimmy was my dog. He was from, Jimmy was from the same hood, and we was cool. Jimmy was cool people, man. So when I seen him, it kind of threw me off because Jimmy had a swollen eye and his lip was busted, and he looked like he just got busted up or something. So we stopped right there. So I guess I'm getting put in this unit. So they open the door, whatever, and I walk in, and I'm standing by the desk, right? So they doing a sale assignment for me, whatever. So I see Jimmy over there sitting down at the table, like look like he just been through. So I'm like, hey Jimmy, what's happening? What up, Jimmy? And he looked over there at me, and he turned away. So I'm like, what? So I'm thinking like, well, maybe that ain't Jimmy, but I know Jimmy. I know this Jimmy, right? So the CEO come over there. He like, hey, you going in that cell right there. So I get up, I go over there. As I'm going over there, I'm looking at Jimmy, right? And I'm just shaking my head. I'm like, man, I know that's Jimmy. So I get in the cell. Now, usually when you get in this unit, get into these minimum units or whatever, you be in a cell by yourself for about a week so you can adjust or whatever. But after that, you get in the celly, and that's just how it is. So I'm in there, put my stuff on the desk, and unfolding my clothes and my bedding and all that stuff, right? So you got a couple guys just coming past, like, hey, what up, man? Where you from? And all this and that. I'm like, I'm from Flint. And they're like, oh, okay. Just a little small talk, whatever. So I bounce out the cell, right? And I go right over there to Jimmy. I said, Jimbo, what's up, man? He was like, oh, what's up, Dante? I said, what happened? You all right, man? You good? He was like, no, man, I'm not, man. And he just bust out and started crying. And I just grabbed him like, hey, man, don't do that. Don't do that. He was like, no, man, you don't understand, man. It's just so much be going on, man. I'm sorry. So I'm like, I said, what you in here for, Jimmy? So he was like, man, let's go. Let's go to your cell, bro. So we get up and we go to my cell, right? So he sit down on the bed and I sit down on the desk. I'm like, what happened to you, Jimmy? It was like, man, this motherfucker keep beating me up in here, man. I said, who? He said, man, this dude named Terrence, man. I said, why? What's going on? Was you fighting back? He was like, I can't beat the dude, man. I tried to. I said, but why is he fucking with you? He was like, man, because I did something to his people. I said, what did you do? He was like, man, you remember that time where the pizza dudes was getting killed or whatever? I said, yeah. He was like, well, that was me. I said, what? He was like, yeah, I was, calling up pizza mans, and I was messed up, Dante. I was really messed up. I was just about to have a kid, and you know how Flint is, man. There ain't no jobs or nothing. So I was just robbing pizza mans, and I started shooting them because I just felt like if it ain't no witnesses to the crime, then I can get away. But I got caught. I said, Jimmy, no, that was you. He was like, yeah, that was me. I said, Jimmy, man, why would you? He said, man, Dante, you know how it is, man. You know how it is in Flint, man. It ain't nothing there, man. I said, Jimmy, but why did you kill somebody, dog? He was like, man, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. But anyway, when I got in here, the dude named Terrence or whatever, he approached me and was like, "Hey, you Jimmy, right?" I said, "Yeah." He was like, "From Flint." He was like, "Yeah." And he hit me so hard. He hit me so hard in the head, man. I blacked out. And when I woke up, man, I just don't want to be here, Dante. I don't want to be here no more. I said, "Look, Jimmy, what you did was really messed up. Taking these people's lives." I said, "Jimmy, you know you had the city on edge, man." He said, "Yeah, I know, man, but I was had a daughter." I said, "Jimmy, man, listen. Now, I want y'all to, for the audience that may be listening that's young and might be in a situation right now." Now, I'll save it to the end. I'm like, "Jimmy, man, you could have did anything else, man. You could have went to the blood bank and got some money, save that money." He said, "I know, Dante, but I just..." But anyway, man, I just don't want to be here no more. I said, "How much time they give you?" He said, "Man, they gave me double life. I ain't never going home. But I can't deal with this. I can't keep dealing with this, man. This dude keep beating me up every day." I said, "Is he in this unit?" He was like, "No, it's when we go to the yard, but I ain't going to yard no more." Every time he see me, he put his hands on me. Now, at this point, y'all, I didn't know that the first time Terrence put hands on Jimmy and knocked him out, that he pulled him into the bathroom and did the unthinkable to him. At this point, I didn't know that, right? He ain't tell me yet, right? So keep that in mind, y'all. So I'm like, now I'm sitting here, y'all, and I'm feeling some type of way. Not that I want to do something to Jimmy because what he did, but at that time, when all them pizza guys was getting unalived in Flint, Michigan, the city was on edge. And the reason why I felt like, man, they need to catch this motherfucker or somebody boom this motherfucker. I don't know that it was Jimmy though, because you got hard working people out here that's not selling drugs, that's not robbing people, that they actually making an honest living delivering pizzas, right? And then you got the nerve to set them up and kill them over a few dollars, maybe $100 at max, 200 maybe. I was feeling some type of way, y'all. So as he's sitting there sobbing, I'm trying to think about the past. I'm trying to think about, the relationship that me and him had in the streets, and I'm trying to hold on to that. But that's getting quickly overpowered by anger, frustration, because I'm like, I know a lot of good guys that go to work. They doing the right thing to provide for their family. And you are the type of motherfucker that I hate, that'll go out and take a man away from his kids, take a man away from his wife, away from his family that love and care about him for a couple fucking dollars. So I said, "Listen, yeah, man, I'll holler at you later, bro." He was like, "What?" I said, "Yeah, go ahead and roll out, man. I gotta take care of some things." So he got up and he walked out. So I'm sitting on my bunk, right, and I'm thinking to myself, like, I don't want to associate with this dude, man. I know we grew up somewhat together for a couple years or whatever, but man, this dude is a piece of shit, man. He a piece of shit, man. And I was just putting, listen, I was a piece of shit too, okay? I was out there robbing, stealing, running down on cats. So, yeah, I was a piece of shit too. I guess this is what they say, the pot calling the skillet black, or the kettle calling the skillet black. Ain't that saying that they say, y'all? So, I'm sitting there and I'm like, nah, I ain't going with him, man. Nah, I'm just not. So anyway, I lays down, I take a nap, right? So some guy knocked on my door like, hey, it's chow time, man. It's dinner time. So I pop up because I'm hungry, y'all. That bus ride was, you can forget it. I'm hungry, so I pop up, right? So I'm asking the guy, like, hey, do we got to bring our IDs or whatever when we, doing movement? He was like, yeah, go grab your ID, because you got to have your ID. They ain't going to let you in the chow hall unless you got it. So I said, I bet. So I go back in my cell and I grab my ID or whatever, and I catch up with the dude. I'm like, hey, so I'm asking him how things just ran well. I'm like, yo, do they be tripping in the chow hall? Like, can you talk or whatever? It's like a time limit. He was like, no, we got 20 minutes to be up in here. And yeah, we could talk. Well, where you just came from? And I told him, he was like, yeah, man, we heard about that. We heard about that prison, man. That joint is off the chain. I said, yeah. He was like, man, but what did you do? Like, how did you work your way down to get down? I said, man, I just stayed out the way, man. I couldn't see myself staying there forever, man. So I just started doing what I was supposed to do, but man, I don't want to talk about it. So he was like, hey, I seen you talking to that dude, Jimmy. He your people or something? I was like, nah, not really. I mean, I know him from the streets or whatever. Why, what's up? He was like, you know he a boy, right? I said, a what? He said he a boy. Now, I never heard this term before. I never heard the term boy. And for those that's wondering, Dante, what is a boy, and why you never heard of this term before? Because I hear punks or sissy or whatever. So when he said that, I'm like, well, what is a boy? He was like, the dude he's a gay dude. He fuck around. I said, what? Jimmy? He was like, yeah. I was like, no. He was like, yeah, man, it's a nigga here named Terrence that be, fucking or whatever. I said, what? Now, Jimmy is already there in the chow hall, right? Jimmy already there. So when we get in there, right, when we get up in there, you show the guard your ID, whatever, you go in there and get in a lunch line or whatever, or dinner line or whatever. He say, oh, there you go right there, right? There you go with his man. Listen, y'all. When you see somebody that you know from the streets or just know in general, and you see them in this type of predicament, it's like your heart drop. Like you get into a daze, like your mind get cloudy and be like, how the f did this happen? Like what is going on here? What happened? Right? So I'm looking at him, right? And he's sitting right on the side of him. And I'm looking and he eating with his head down or whatever. And I see the guy Terrence. Terrence ain't nothing but, he got a little size on him, like 6'2". I ain't have no weight scale, but I'm imagining he was maybe about 215, 220 or something like that. Or whatever. But Jimmy on the other end was probably like 5'8", maybe a good 170, 175 or whatever. But you can obviously see what it is right now. So I'm going through the line or whatever. I get my stuff, whatever, my food, and I go sit down. So here's a side note. I'm sitting down at this table, right? And I'm sitting down at the table with this guy that's in my unit or whatever. And he telling me like, yeah, man, I guess dude was like unaliving pizza guys in Flint or whatever when you're at your city. And, that's one of the guy's uncle, whatever. Terrence, that dude Terrence, and dude doing life. So apparently they was in the prison shower or whatever, and Terrence been pressing him for about 2 weeks. And, slapping around, beating him up or whatever, but not beating him up too much. And apparently about, maybe a week ago, he basically ran up in him in the prison shower. And ever since then, he just been beating him up and, messing around with him. So I'm like, how many times has this happened? It was like damn near every day. It's like he beat him up and he do that to him. I said, that's crazy, man. So he was like, yeah, and to be honest with you, I think he liked it because, I mean, you can get you a knife in this motherfucker. And he kind of like showed me like his his waistband or whatever. He had a little joint right there. He was like, it ain't nothing to get one of these motherfuckers. So on the real, I think the motherfucker like it or whatever. So I said, all right, bet. So I eat my food. Now, at this time, y'all, I done lost my appetite because I know Jimmy mama. I know Jimmy brother, his little sisters, his cousin. I know Jimmy damn near his whole family. And I'm thinking like, dang, I wonder if they know. I wonder if they know if how Jimmy in here, giving it up. And I know, y'all. I know. I'm only human. I'm because at this point, y'all, I'm wrestling spiritually, mentally, emotionally, because Jimmy was, I consider, my homeboy. And to see him like this and knowing the situation that he's getting beat up and, getting violated and not fighting back, it's like I want to do something about it. But at the same time, it's like, what if that was my people? What if that was my folks that got unalived because they was delivering pizza and he decided to take their life for a crummy piece of funky dollars? So I had the mindset of, approaching the dude Terrence, like, hey man, fall back on Jimmy or whatever. But that would have caused the issue. I mean, I ain't the type that's gonna duck no issue at all. Because I feel like if I'm gonna approach a man, look, this was my philosophy in lockup. If I approach you with a situation, I'm willing to go all the way with it. If I approach you and I got the gall to come to you and tell you, hey, fall back or hey, you need to chill, or hey, that ain't happening no more, I'm willing to go all the way with it. Right? And that was just my mentality. So I know how I am, but I don't know how this dude Terrence is. What I do know about this dude Terrence is that he's a bandit and he do put hands on. He will fight. Because obviously I'm looking at Jimmy all beat up and toe up. So I'm weighing the options. So I asked my man that's sitting next to me that, gave me the rundown. I'm like, hey, do he be packing? He was like, really, everybody in here packing. I said, okay. He like, why, what's up? I said, no, I just want to know. I'm just thinking. He was like, hey, Dante, listen, whatever you thinking, bro, just leave that shit alone, man. You seem like a cool dude or whatever, man. You just got here. Man, what's going on? Just let it be, man. Don't get in that business, man. I know that's your guy, or you knew him on the streets or whatever, but man, let that be, man. If he won't fight for himself, why should you fight for him? You know what I'm saying? I said, yeah, but he said, no, it ain't no yeah, but, bro, just leave that shit alone, man. Leave it alone. I said, all right, man. I guess, man, I'll fall back, whatever. So at this point, we get done, we dump our trays. We go dump our trays, whatever, and we bounce out of there. Now, at this time, the yard was shut down. Wasn't nobody going to the yard or the law library. The only movement was this. Either you go to breakfast and dinner, or you go back to your unit. That was it. That was it. It wasn't no rec time, no nothing. Your rec time is in your unit walking around doing pull-ups on the staircase or doing push-ups or sit-ups or whatever. That's your rec time in the unit. So I'm like, all right. Now this is where it get funky, y'all. So we get back to the unit, me and the guy that I'm talking to, whatever, and we just talk about street shit, what we used to do back in the streets, whatever, because he was from Lansing, East Lansing. And, he was telling me, capping, talking about he was the bird man, got all these birds, and, his girlfriend set him up with the feds to get time taken off of her daddy sentence or whatever. So I'm like, okay, I'm listening to it because every time, one thing that I know about jail, everybody was a bird man. Everybody had bricks. Everybody was Pablo Escobar. Everybody was the big drug kingpin in their area, right? But couldn't even afford to post bond, right? So anyway, he telling me all this, whatever. I'm like, oh, okay. So then I see Jimmy walk in, right? And Jimmy is walking weird. And when I say weird, y'all know what I mean. Like something just happened to him. Something dark and demonic just happened to him. So dude was like, yep, you see? So I'm like, wait, how would that happen where could that happen at? If the yard is locked down and we can't go nowhere. He would say, hey, bro, if there's a will, there's a way. I said, what? He said, yeah, man, I don't know how, but if there's a will, there's a way. Then he got up and he walked off. So I'm sitting there, right? And I said, you know what? I got to go holler at Jimmy, man. I got to, man, because I got to. So I get up. And Jimmy is in his cell, right? He laying on his bed, whimpering. So I bust up in his cell. I said, hey, Jimmy, man, listen, man. I know what's going on, bro. He was like, man, Dante, just go. Just go, man, leave. I said, listen, Jimmy, dog, man, what's up, man? Why you letting this shit happen? He like, man, I can't do nothing about it, man. I can't do nothing. I said, what you mean you can't do nothing about it, man? He like, cuz, you know what, Dante? I'm gonna be real with you. Yeah, I can get me a sword of justice. He didn't say sword of justice, but I call it the sword of justice. He said, I can get me a sword of justice, and yeah, I can do something, but I don't want to do nothing. I said, what? What you mean you don't want to do nothing? I said, so you enjoy what this nigga doing to you? He was like, no, it ain't that. He said, man, and he sat up at this time. He sat up. He said, man, listen. I think I deserve this because I did unalive a lot of people for nothing. This was his people that I unalived. So, man, I don't have nothing to offer, man. I feel like I'm damned. I feel like I'm doomed. I feel like I'm just floating through here like a ghost, man. And if that's what it takes for something, for me to feel something, then that's just what it's gonna be. I said, hold up, Jimmy, are you telling me that you are okay with this? You okay with this dude doing this to you? He was like, man, Dante, respectfully, man, just get out my cell, man. Don't say nothing else to me, man. Just let me be, man. Leave me be, man. So I got up, y'all, and I walked out. So I'm sitting there, right, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, yo, this can't be life. And I'm thinking about his mama, y'all, because his mama was so cool, man. I'm just thinking about back in the day, man, the barbecues she used to throw. They had a really cool family, man. And this was my dog. So I'm just sitting there, y'all. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. I'm gonna keep it a bean. I kind of shed a tear. I did. I know. Big old Dante. What? Dante shed a tear? He cried? No, I didn't cry. It wasn't a full river of tears coming down. It was just maybe one or two tears that came down. Hey, let me tell y'all something. There's people that cry in prison. Dudes cry all the time, right? So don't y'all trying to ride on me like that. So I did share a couple of tears because I was hurt, man. I was hurt. That it wasn't that I couldn't do nothing about it, because I could have, but it wouldn't have meant nothing. It would have just got me put in a situation and me possibly going to the hole, you know what I'm saying? Because this dude basically told me he don't have no will to fight and he's accepting his fate. So what can I do about that? Absolutely nothing. Now let's get to the meat and the potatoes of this story. But before we do that, I need for y'all to do me a favor, man. First of all, I need for y'all to hit that like button if you haven't hit it already. Secondly, if you got the option to hype this video, hype this motherfucking video. Okay? I need for y'all to hype it up. All right? Share this video on your social media channels, your Facebook, your Instagram, all that, right? Quick updates before I get into the meat and potatoes. Quick update. I started my cartoon series. Okay, it's called The Spot Cartoons. I got a playlist that I'm gonna have pinned at the top of the comment section. Okay, so y'all can check that out. Give me some feedback, whatever. I'm gonna drop a new episode. I don't know, maybe every other day or every 2 days, right? Because this animations is time consuming, right? But anyway, I'm gonna leave. It's called The Spot Cartoons. I'm bringing my prison stories to life in like cartoon style. So y'all make sure y'all check that out. I'm gonna have that link pinned to the comment section. It's the Spot Cartoon playlist. Also, if you have not became a member yet, make sure you become a member. I'm gonna have the link to the members videos pinned at the top of the comment section. What did you get with that? Every month I drop 2 short horror film skits. Okay, 2 short horror film skits, movies. Okay, a lot of y'all be like, yo, Dante, what else do you do besides tell stories? Well, I act, I produce short films. So I figured, let me just give back to my members. So that's what I do, y'all. So every month I put up 2 new short horror films that I done did, that I'm starring in, of course. And that's what y'all get. And also y'all get access to my early stories, okay? And when I start dropping more of these cartoon videos, whatever, y'all got early access to them. Y'all will be able to watch it before everybody else, okay? And also, I'm still doing promotions, y'all. Right now, I'm doing $50 promotion. $50 promotions per video. What you get with that, I promote your video. I promote your business, your social media channel, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, whatever it is. If you got a product that you want promoted, like a ebook, something from Amazon, or something that you make at home, or arts and craft that you think that people might want, or if you got a brick and mortar business and you want, to get more eyes on it, more tractions or whatever, get in contact with me. Right now, y'all, it's $50 per video. I'm going to make you a little short commercial, and I'm going to insert it like in the beginning of my story times or whatever, and at the end. So get in contact with me if you want something promoted. My contact information will be pinned at the top of the comment section too. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to my movie and my gaming channel. I'm going to have that link pinned at the top of the comment section. Also, y'all subscribe to Stacy's Storytime. She's tell phenomenal stories just like myself. And if y'all feeling generous, make sure y'all leave me a tip. I'm accepting Cash App, Zelle, and PayPal. Until next time, y'all take care. I'm gone.